Why would someone disappear? Just minutes after smiling at the man they loved? Sunlight spilling across a busy plaza. A couple walking hand in hand, laughter caught mid-step. 10:15 a.m. Hope. Tension. Seconds before everything unravels. This wasn't a quiet street. Phones buzzed. Coffee cups clinked. In the next minute, one decision would fracture lives. Sunlight warmed the marble steps. Traffic hummed lazily. A street musician's notes twisted through the air, unaware of what was about to unfold. Susan Monroe laughed, brushing hair from her face. She never reached the curb, and Julian Hart's hand, still warm in hers, tightened in confusion, not fear. They had left the courthouse excited, the kind of joy that made people smile at strangers. Onlookers noticed nothing unusual. A quick glance, a shared joke, a ring catching the sunlight. Tessa Monroe waved from across the street, but the glance wasn't returned. A phone vibrated. Susan hesitated, looking down, her smile faltering for a heartbeat. Last confirmed sighting, Susan Monroe. Julian nudged her forward. She stepped into the sunlit intersection. He followed, then stopped, not arguing, not panicking, just frozen. Why would he stop when nothing felt wrong? 3 nearby security cameras, 2 rolling, 1 dark, a 93-second blind spot. Camera 3, offline. Preston Knox, the neighbor, sipped his coffee across the street, squinting at the couple. Something in his gaze lingered too long. Julian glanced back. Susan's hand drifted from his. She was drawn toward the shadows of the cafe's awning, checking the street behind her. A delivery truck rumbled past, masking a fleeting sound, a whisper, or nothing at all. Main suspect, Julian Hart. She was gone for 30 seconds. Then the crowd noticed. Just enough time for questions to outpace answers. By noon, her phone pinged once. A location update 3 blocks away. No calls, no texts, and somewhere between a promise and sunlight, a future quietly failed to arrive. If dozens of people saw her, why did no one notice her vanish? Sunlit plaza, pedestrians walking past, shadows stretching across crosswalks. 10:44 a.m. Confusion, dread, daylight tension. Phones in hands, shoes scuffing pavement. Everything ordinary. That's the problem. Susan's hand grazed the cafe doorframe. Then it was empty. Julian stood frozen, staring at nothing familiar. Security cameras caught fleeting glimpses. A blur near the curb, a reflection in the storefront glass. Julian appeared alone, 30 seconds later than expected. His hesitation was small but telling. Onlookers continued walking, unaware. Witness statements don't match. Reflection unconfirmed. Why would daylight hide her, yet leave him in plain view? A delivery truck rumbled past. Papers fluttered in the wind. A small notebook tipped over, unnoticed. Preston Knox lingered on the sidewalk, his gaze sharper than it should have been. At 10:47 a.m., Susan's phone pinged one last time. A location update? Blocks away. But the path made no sense. How could someone disappear in plain sight, without a trace? Sunlight glinting off a crosswalk, empty footprints on warm pavement. 10:50 a.m. Unease, suspense, daylight tension. Traffic moved steadily. Coffee cups jostled in hands. Susan's absence pressed on the plaza like invisible weight. 20 seconds. Julian replayed her last glance in his mind. A flicker of worry he hadn't noticed. Panic rose quietly, slowly, in daylight. Detective Rowan Hale arrived, scanning storefront cameras. 2 recorded her, 1 mysteriously offline. Witnesses gave conflicting statements. Savannah Brooks swore she saw Susan turn toward the bakery, but Jordan Bell insisted she kept walking straight. Onlookers didn't notice anything unusual. Sunlight masked the fracture. Camera 3, offline. Main figure, Julian Hart. 3 days later. Which detail in daylight will finally break the story wide open? A reflection in a car window showed a figure. Blurred, familiar, or not. Tessa Monroe texted her sister's last contact, J. Tessa, but no reply came. By 11:05 a.m., the plaza felt ordinary again. But Susan's path had vanished. Only questions remained. Why did every clue point in a different direction when the truth was so close? Immediate visual. Sunlight reflecting off a silver car door, papers fluttering across a plaza. 11:12 a.m. confusion, tension, daylight unease. Detective Miles Corbett crouched by the curb, examining a dropped coffee cup. A note peeked from the corner of a mailbox, almost invisible in the sun. Everyone moved normally around it, but the missing woman made the day feel fractured. Savannah Brooks' voice shook as she described Susan's smile moments before she vanished. Hope collided with disbelief, leaving Julian frozen in the plaza light. CCTV footage revealed Julian walking back and forth, alone, yet multiple angles suggested Susan was still nearby. Detective Hale noticed inconsistencies. The timestamp of her last location didn't match the plaza's security log. J. Tessa called, panic in her voice, reporting a strange text from Susan. Vague, hurried, alarming. Security log, discrepancy found, last message received. 11:05 a.m. Person of interest, Isaac Turner. What could daylight hide that no one was ready to see? A shadow crossed the sunlit cafe entrance, too quick to identify. Hannah Whitlock, Susan's co-worker, whispered to Preston Knox about someone watching from across the street. By noon, the plaza was alive with ordinary chatter. But Susan's absence hung like a silent echo, daring daylight to reveal what darkness had tried to hide. How could someone be so close, yet entirely invisible? Bright sunlight bouncing off a downtown cafe window, a figure pausing mid-step. 12:03 p.m. unease, tension, daylight paranoia. Julian retraced his steps, scanning the plaza, every face a possible clue. Savannah whispered urgently, pointing toward a man who lingered too long near the crosswalk. His posture casual, but the way he watched made the day feel smaller, suffocating. Tessa's hand trembled on her phone as she called Detective Hale, voice barely audible. Something's wrong. He's there, she gasped. Detectives split the plaza into sectors, tracking movements, tracing last known sightings. Isaac Turner appeared again, now holding a small bag. Dropped accidentally? Or a staged misdirection? Security cameras captured shadows stretching differently. A subtle hint no one noticed until replay. Person of interest, Isaac Turner. Security footage, 12:02 p.m. Witness confusion, multiple accounts. Was Susan ever really alone? Or had someone been following her all along? Preston Knox noticed the same man slipping behind a row of parked cars. Hannah Whitlock's eyes widened as she realized he disappeared from one camera angle entirely. By midday, the plaza seemed ordinary again. Yet daylight couldn't erase the feeling that every step Susan took was being tracked. What secret could a single message hold that changes everything? Bright morning light spilling over Susan's abandoned coffee cup. A phone screen lighting up with a single unread notification. 1:17 p.m. shock, curiosity, daylight suspense. Grant's hands shook as he read the message aloud to Detective Hale. Tessa peered over his shoulder, heart hammering in rhythm with every word. Even the plaza noise, honking cars, distant chatter, felt muted, as if the world paused. The message wasn't a threat. It was a direction, a clue pointing to where Susan had gone, or where she was being kept. Detectives Corbett and Hale retraced Susan's route, checking timestamps, cross-referencing phone pings. Preston Knox's casual wave turned cold when he saw the same figure from Part 5 lurking near a narrow alley. Jordan Bell's statement added tension. He looked right at her, then vanished. Phone ping, last known location, suspect spotted. Alleyway 1:19 p.m. Witness confusion, contradictory accounts. Was Susan following the directions? Or being led? The alley glowed under the noon sun, revealing faint footprints. Too small for Julian, too precise to be random. Detectives exchanged glances. Every second now mattered. By 1:30 p.m., Susan's trail grew faint, But one piece of evidence hinted at a choice she may have made, willingly or not. After all the clues, who can be trusted and who can't? Immediate visual. Bright sunlight illuminating Susan's scarf caught on a park fence, fluttering softly in the wind. 2:05 p.m. Tension, heartbreak, clarity. Detective Hale's eyes scanned the plaza as witnesses whispered fragments of what they saw. Julian's hands were empty, trembling as if the sunlight exposed every lie. Tessa held her breath, sensing that this daylight would finally reveal the truth. Susan's choices, her last movements, and the subtle messages from her phone converged. The person she trusted the most wasn't who they appeared to be. Detectives Corbett and Hale confronted the main suspect under the glaring sun. Preston Knox and Jordan Bell's testimonies confirmed the sequence. The moment Susan disappeared wasn't random. A final piece of evidence, overlooked before, clarified everything. A hidden message in plain sight, revealing her location before it was too late. Main suspect, Julian Hart, confession pending, evidence revealed, hidden message, witness alignment, timeline confirmed. Could justice arrive in time, and would it heal the hearts left behind? By mid-afternoon, Susan was found safe, shaken but alive. Julian was arrested, his betrayal exposed to daylight and truth. The family embraced in the warm sunlight, relief, grief, and love tangled together. Detectives nodded, knowing every small, careful observation mattered. The city moved on, but for Susan, Tessa, Grant, and Esther, this daylight held a new meaning. Clarity, support, and justice. The whispers of fear faded, replaced by understanding and emotional healing. Subscribe to the Veil of Secret for more real-life mysteries, emotional truths, and daylight revelations.